Okay, John Billingsley. I work at G&P Trucking based out of Columbia, South Carolina. We run about 600 trucks and been there for 10 years as a director of safety.
I'm Jack Murphy. I'm with Usher Transport. We run about 450 all tankers. About 90% of everything we do is hazmat, and I do the safety and recruiting both. So there's three of us in the safety department, so I'll share those responsibilities. So that's what we do.
Fantastic. John, I'll start with you with a question. Before you had the Infinit-I system, how did you do your safety training? Just kind of tell us how that went.
It was hit or miss with safety meetings that were mandatory, where people wouldn't show up or would show up. So, and so now, now that we've made the switch to totally, we don't do safety meetings as a group anymore. We just totally rely on Infinit-I for that portion.
Jack, how do you guys?
We still conduct a quarterly safety meeting, and we'd also do a quarterly safety bonus. So if they attend a meeting, it's counts towards their bonus. If they don't, they lose points. We also do, because we are tankers, there's all the time new regulation, everything come down, so we rely heavily on Infinit-I for that, and the large portion of the safety stuff that they're required to do prior to coming to the meeting is on Infinit-I. So that's how we, like I said, we still have the meetings, just I think it's more, not only is it for that, but it's also a little driver retention built in, so we can kind of meet with the drivers and buy them breakfast. So.
Okay, great. John, before Infinit-I, what was your perception of online training? Did you ever think about it? Did you have any preconceived ideas about online training before you ever started it?
Absolutely. Been wanting to do online training since training was invented, and since I was in charge of it. The cost was typically something that prohibited us from moving forward. And then we found you guys and found what we thought, I'm serious, was a reasonable cost for training.
Okay, great. Jack, I'm going to ask you a question. How do you use the system currently? Is it just safety training, or are you using it in orientation? Do you have any other departments that use it?
Well, basically we have about 7.5 hours of it that we do for orientation, that we sign on the portal, and they have to have that done prior to coming into orientation. So we cut our orientation back from 3 days to, they come in on Tuesday. Usually I'm done with them about 10 o'clock on Wednesday. We also use it for our mechanics in our shop, our forklift certification training. We do our hazmat recertification training. We kind of overstep our boundaries there. We have them hazmat recertify every year, and that's a portal. We just assign it to them. We give them a 2-week portal to do that in. If they don't do it the first week, then the second week they get an email every day. If it goes into the third week, they're not dispatched till it's done. So we use it for that. And then we also had, in December, we had open enrollment. Our insurance, I'm sure some of your all's has changed as far as our health benefits for company employees, because probably about 60% of ours are company employees. And so we were getting calls from their wives, well, I don't understand option 3 and this. So we done a little online video explaining all of it and had the wives log in. So that freed up our HR department and myself, because you get a wife, well, I don't understand option 3. Well, then after 45 minutes, you hang up and they still don't understand what's going on. So we incorporated that. We had them upload that. That way the wives could go in and watch it and explain that. So we've used it on several different venues other than just safety or, hazmat or anything else. So.
Fantastic. You guys both have company drivers, owner operators, both, or just curious?
Both.
Both.
We're half and half.
You're half and half? Okay, and you're requiring your independent contractors to do the safety training just like anybody else?
We do. What we do for our independent contractors is they're required, we pay for clean inspections, but we won't pay you unless you're up to date on your Infinit-I training. So.
Fantastic. Anybody have any questions yet at this point? Yes, sir.
What do you do about that driver that doesn't use a computer, doesn't, will fight you on it a little bit? Do you have any?
Bye.
You just get rid of it.
Yeah.
The one that barely has
I mean, what, you know, you gotta understand,
I mean, those are some good drivers.
they are good drivers, but what's that good driver gonna cost you down the road when he's not compliant, he's out there and he's involved in an accident, his fault, their fault, doesn't matter. And you come in and you've got one guy that's spoiling it for 450 other drivers just because he don't wanna use a computer. He's not worth it to me. If he goes out and he's involved in an accident and he kills somebody or somebody's a quadriplegic, and then they come up and they say, okay, so you've got 485 other drivers that can see fit to use a computer, but you're letting this one guy slide, I don't need it.
And it's more probably a big company as opposed to you would probably accommodate for in the small.
Yeah,
No.
we do accommodate for them. We make a computer available to you. It may be 500. It may be 500 miles away from where you live, but we'll get you to it and make it available to you.
I'll be truthful in all our drivers, and you understand, I've got people from Pikeville, Kentucky, and Harlan, Kentucky. I have not had any problems.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I've not had any problems, nothing. But I'm just saying, you're talking about there's guys that don't even have internet access, but they've got a smartphone. Truthfully, we've not had any problems. In fact, next month we have on our website, we have an online application, and we also have one in a PDF format where they can fill it out. And I go through 10th Street for my applications. I'm taking out, and the owner says, "You can't take that off first. Why? It takes me 10 times longer to process an app." But what if they can't get to the computer? I said, well, let's back the computer butts up. You're telling me a guy can't get to a computer for 20 minutes to fill out an application, but when I approve him, then you're going to tell me to assign him 7 hours of computer training? But we've not had any, we got a little rhetoric at first. Well, I don't have a computer. You got the library. You got, there's a lot of places you can go to. You're welcome to come in. We got 3 stations up there at our office they can use. So, but our established fleet, they'll do it on their iPhone or something else because the owner operator, it's big to him. He don't want to come in and waste time. He'd rather when he's on his 10-hour break, knock out a couple hours of it, go to bed and be done. He'll have it done. So it's not been any problem to us.
And we don't have the Kentucky problem.
We don't have the Kentucky. I'm talking about these guys that are in Pikeville, Kentucky.
I understand that could be
You
an
would
issue.
you would think. Gotta look. These guys are all. They're one or two things. They're either second or third generation truck drivers that their dad hauled coal, or they're coal haulers and they're out of work because coal. Mr. Obama's taking care of the coal industry for us. So they're looking, and a lot of them, we've had guys, oh man, I just got my computer, good deal. Now but as the different areas that we recruit from and everything else, it's just not been an issue for us. They'll find a computer.
Yeah.
If they want to go to work for you, they'll find a computer.
And we have very few people that really, truly have an issue, whether they're Mennonite or Amish or whatever. I'm not kidding. That we can get them in front of a computer at some
So
point.
it's okay for you to pick on the Mennonites and Amish, but I can't pick on the hillbillies, right? I see where this is going.
Yeah. Dude, choose your battles. Aren't they a protected group? Kentuckians?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I thought they were.
You guys are fantastic.
I guess, once you got this started, let me back up and ask it this way. Before you had the online training system, you had any kind of an idea what kind of compliance you had? Were you half the drivers once a quarter, or a fraction of that? And what do you have now that they're training online? Anybody got any numbers on that?
Well, I think with online training, you get to determine what you want to have as far as compliance goes. And so since you at any moment can look and see who has completed what training, then you can dictate what it is you'd like to have happen. So at first we said, we're going to be 100% compliant 100% of the time. And then we're like, well, let's work through our Kentuckians and figure. Have I used that too much? I'm gonna do it one more time. One more time. And so what we've done is we've gone through and said, all right, so we have an issue with a particular state that it doesn't really have access, doesn't want access. And we've done things as we've mailed a computer to one location or a laptop and had them share it for a month and get all the training done, and then we realize that, hey, we're going to get compliance, and just because, it's December versus January, we're not too upset about that. We just need to make sure that everybody is working their way through it and everybody's aware of it, so we report those numbers out every Monday, who's on and who's off, or what that actual percentage is, and as long as we bring attention to it, then our overall compliance with getting the training gets done, as versus leaving it, in the safety department alone to try to follow up with people. So as we bring those issues, I guess, to the leadership group for our company, then they make it a priority because they don't want to be embarrassed by the fact that they have low compliance.
Yes.
In about
Jack,
100 words.
Yeah, what kind of process did you go through? Did the drivers take on to it pretty quick? Did you have challenges there?
We had the owner operators, what we did, we sold it to them, you're gonna be up here for three and a half days. Now you're gonna be up here for a little over a day. So, an owner operator, when they're down, that's revenue.
Yep.
So, that's been very, and our hazmat recertification, we used to try to get, like in the Paducah area, we'd have a safety meeting, get everybody hazmat recertified, and it's a couple hour process. Now, we've pretty much eliminated that problem because now they're online. We give them 2 weeks to get it done. If they don't, it's pretty much known. If you don't get it done in 2 weeks, well then, every day that you go over, you're gonna be set. It's just, and all our outside terminals, we went out and we've set an extra computer up in each one of those, so if they can't get by when they're in their home terminal, they can walk in, go back in that room, and get done whatever they have to. So,
Great.
Yeah, and we made Wi-Fi free at all of our locations so that guys can pull up there and not use their data, because we warned them, hey, you're going to be watching video. If you're not on unlimited data, you're going to burn through your stuff if you have to play catch up. And
Actually, I'll address that tomorrow, the data usage a little bit, in case people are curious about that.
yeah, it's
What's
not.
Wi-Fi?
Well, wait a minute. All right. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Bye.
I meant, if you're from Kentucky, I meant
You got
Wi-Fi.
y'all got to. There's a big difference there too. I have to be very compliant. The stuff that my company pulls, I can't afford to be out here. If you're out here, God forbid you roll over a load of Pampers out here, you got to clean up. You got a road shut down. I've got one of my trucks out here, and it rolls over with a load of hexane or ammonium in it. I'm gonna clean out a 7-block area.
Yeah.
So I have to make sure my drivers are compliant. I have to make sure that they understand what they're doing. And, it's God forbid, nobody wants that wreck or anything else, but I'd much rather have somebody call and say, Bob, I've got 150 cases of Pampers on the interstate, and call and tell me, say, hey, I just spilt 3,800 gallons of sulfuric acid that's rolling down the interstate eating it up. So we just really can't tolerate much. We really can't. So.
Jack, and for you, because you still do both safety training,
Uh-huh.
you still do are there topics that you found that the online doesn't address, that you have measurable change?
Not really,
I
because
guess it would be a measurable, what I'm after is are there topics that you can truly measure improvement, video versus when you had this traditional?
yeah. Well, for one thing, we're much more in compliant with like our hazmat recertification. And then anytime FMC DOT, like there was just a big change, there was a change come down for us with some of this new ammonium stuff we're pulling in, and some of the guys that are the select few that are going to be pulling it, they had to go through this special training, and then plus we had to bring them in. Now I have to be fit for respirators, so we were able to train all that and everything else. And then we've noticed that some of our quote Kentucky accidents that we have just cross drops, well, that looks like a good hole. I believe I'll stick that diesel in there, and it's gas. We've noticed that through the training, our ratio of cross drops and stuff have decreased. So, and that's strictly because of training. And it's so easy for us. We have before they can deliver anything on the chemical side, they have to have a sign saying that they've got the head hooks for the right distribution thing. And if they've got that sign, I don't care if they pump it in their warehouse, which we did. we pump 1,500 gallons of Dello 400 in a warehouse, and driver's out there pumping, he looks and there's oil running out of the door, and you think, wow, that don't look good. So, so open it up, it's inch oil all over. Now, we had that sign. So when we instituted that on our Waybill program, we went out and we sent the video, they uploaded it, everybody watched it, signed off on it, and everything else. So now they know, if they're out there and they hooked an acid head, and they pump caustic into an acid tank, which we did in Bellefontaine, Ohio, that they're going to share in a larger portion of that responsibility. So, and it has helped educate our drivers into doing it right the first time, because in a lot of our cases, that's all we've got is the first time. Second time just don't happen.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that, when we do assign training that's really specific to one area, we don't just assign one, we assign 2 or 3. I think we raise the just general awareness of everybody about how serious we are about safety. So it's part of that overall picture that, you get, since we use Qualcomm or Omnitrax, that you get messages to your vehicle almost on a daily basis about safety. And then, if you have an issue from a personal aspect, one person will assign you some training or some retraining that along with that, though, everybody gets something monthly. Mm-hmm. And so and I think that beats hands down any quarterly or biannually, semi-annually safety meeting whatsoever. But you got to take it all into a big picture. We're having one-on-one conversations with a lot of our drivers because we do the in-cab recorders as well. So we have the general stuff that these guys produce. We have some specific stuff that we've sent to them and gets uploaded. There's a couple of safety video companies that will give you the rights to upload it as long as it's password protected. So if you found a video that you really love and you don't want to lose that, then you just contact them, and for the most part, they will give you the copyright or whatever. They'll give you some license to use it, provided that it's password protected. So, and so that's the part we've really liked, which is I got specific stuff for the majority of driving issues. We have warehousing and we have maintenance guys, and we have specific stuff for that. And if I want something just for 5 guys and I want to do it myself, I can do it and then assign it to you when you've made a mistake. So,
and that's what we do a lot of times too. If we have a guy that's had a couple logbook violations, we'll send him just, out of our training program, we'll send him the logbook portfolio and make him redo that, And if he gets another one, he gets a little bit more extensive, and then there won't be a third.
right. Make
So,
them
and
available.
it can be anything, it can be anything as far as, we send out, if we recently went from dual tires to wide base tires. Well, there's certain things that you really have to be cognizant of when those tires, the air pressure, this, that, and if you blow one of those, you're down. So it was a training issue for all our drivers, and we put that on Infinit-I and had them all watch it.
So you created your own video on that?
Yeah, we created our own video on that. And then we've also we created our own pump video that everybody has to watch through that. And then we have a special port that just our dispatchers have to watch and take. It's geared strictly for dispatch, and then we want our dispatchers to ride with the truck for a week before they're on a short haul, before we turn them loose on dispatch. So, but it's a training thing just specifically for dispatch. So
it sounds like you guys create your own videos pretty regularly.
we do. We've got one that I'm really proud. We just done. It's a pump video. It's really nice.
Okay, so at least a few a year of your own videos that you create. Yeah, that's great.
Any other questions?
I've got one.
Yes, sir.
Do either one of y'all have any drivers that speak English as a second language, and did you have any pushback, and how long was that learning curve?
We primarily have English speaking, but we do have Spanish speaking drivers, and so we just, anything that's available to them in Spanish, we give it to them in Spanish. So.
Okay.
The only thing I wish these guys did was subtitle everything. seriously, I mean, well, because as that rolls out, there are a lot of countries that their kids speak English very well at a young age because they watch all of our shows with English subtitles. And so they can pick up on it quicker when they hear it and read it at the same time. And so even though you may speak Spanish as your primary language, just having it in English subtitles, you get to hear and see it at the same time. It's a little, I think it's better received. I have a kid that does that out of necessity, that he has to have subtitles on. He turns it on every show, every movie. Thank Netflix for that, that he can turn that on. And so it benefits him tremendously. And so as I talk to our Spanish-speaking employees, they say the exact same thing, that when they can hear it and see it at the same time, that their retention is better and their understanding of it is better. Because when you and I speak, obviously, they hear and see the words, or they hear and understand the words, but their understanding of them is seconds later. And so if I speak really quickly, like during training, they're seconds behind me, and I've already moved on when they're starting to understand what I just said a few seconds ago. And if you don't speak Southern, it might be the same thing. Yeah.
They're missing part.
And so they do miss part, and you get the yeah or see, and so, but if we had more, and I love the Spanish speaking videos, but the subtitle stuff is the next thing for us too, as if we create any more content, that will always require that it has subtitles. We may not do Spanish speaking, but because of the rule, we make everybody fill out their own application, which is number one, and then subtitles would be next, but not truly Spanish speaking.
Another question, how do you manage the system? Are you very hands-on with it and administer the system yourself, or do you rely on client services to do a lot for you? In other words, pick up the phone, call them, tell them what you want. How are you using the system from a manager's side?
You want to go first?
I'm very hands-on. I mean, I sign all my, I have a backup, Marlene. She's very, very good in Infinit-I. I mean, as far as, but we assign all that, make it real simple for them. Their login name is their last name, first initial, and the password's Usher. So,
Okay.
and then she assigns all that. But as far as the actual, I bought a lot out. I use a lot out of the catalog, but we've created we've created some of our own. So I like it to be hands-on, because it's when you create your own, it's yours. It don't say, now if you're doing this or something, now like ours here at Usher Transportation, we do this or that. So I really like doing my own stuff.
Right. What about you, John? Do
We
you manage it? Or?
No, we let client services do all of it. I mean, they call me probably every 5 working days to ask me. Seriously, they do. To the part where I'm like, no, dear, you already did it last week. But whenever we have issues, they'll ask a couple of leading questions, and then because sometimes we have issues with failing to remove people from the system or failing to add.
We've done that too.
And so Amanda knocks them out for us really quickly. Yeah. And then every now and then I just say, hey, why don't we just take a look at one of these things, and then she'll tell me how I've screwed it up and fix it for me. And then that just makes me rely on her that much more. I just tell her what we want for the next month, and either that or for us, we set up a year in advance.
Yep.
So probably around August of this year, we'll get set up with all the standard training that people are going to go through for the next 12 months. And so if you get assigned anything by us, it would be just in addition to what you already get.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about client services, but you have two different types here, and that's the reason I asked that question. You can be very hands-on and make your own assignments and do all those things and run reports, or you can pick up the phone, call client services, and tell them what you want done.
And I'll tell you, either way you do it, it's very easy to work in. It's not hard. I mean, once you learn, you can custom your own thing, send it up to them. They hook it up to your system for you. It's not hard to do. but the video, now, don't get me wrong, probably 80% of our orientation is strictly right out of their catalog, you know.
Yeah, right.
Right there, you know, but there's certain things like our pump videos and this and our pre-trip inspections and all that we done ourselves, because there's certain ways we want it done, especially with the tankers. And so that way we done it where they watch it, you know, ours. So, but I have had Pam and them are just, I mean, you know, anytime there's something new, they always, you know, you always get a list of the new things that are in the catalog. You can look at them, you can preview them, but don't think it's a hard system to use. It's very simple. It's not hard to use at all.
Great.
Very easy to learn.
Any questions from the audience? Just gotta, go ahead, yes.
I actually have a question. How long until you send your custom-made stuff, does it get uploaded? Is it an immediate thing, or?
Day before you send it.
Day before you?
Yeah. Pretty much. By the time you want to use it, it's available to you.
Ours, I mean, you talk about like the time you send an assignment
Like
out.
if you send a video to them and then you want them, basically anything custom that you need, if you send it to them.
And it varies. I've had a couple things where it wasn't, it was trying to pixelate on us or this or that or something, or it just wasn't right, or this wasn't formatted right or that, but a couple days at the most.
Jack, use your custom pump. How long was that?
Huh?
Your custom pump,
We sent it in on a Friday, and it was going. It was Sunday, Friday, and I think it was ready to go Monday afternoon. It was a pretty easy file. I think it was pretty easy to port over, and it was ours. So
generally speaking, if we don't have to edit it, we have a one business day turnaround.
Yeah.
If we have to actually do edits on it, that's going to take a little bit longer depending on what we're actually.
You'll struggle more with, if it's yours, you'll struggle more with what questions that you want to ask and when you want to have a break. Is your video really long? That's what you'll struggle more with that than they will struggle with getting it up and ready for you.
yeah, it doesn't take. I've never had any problem with that.
Good.
Never.
Kind of a personal question for each one of you.
I'm
How
married.
has this impacted your job? What did you say? I didn't hear you.
I said I was married, but thank you for your interest.
Are you happy?
You forgot. You should have asked that one first. I don't know. 98.
What I wrote down
98.
was
However damn long that is. Forever.
Yeah.
I just wrote down, never put people from Kentucky and South Carolina together.
Hey, how's it? What was the
How's
question?
it impacted your job?
Oh, it's freed a lot of my time
Oh,
up.
yeah. Absolutely.
Because now instead of constantly having to look, and research for hazmat, it used to be, you had the spreadsheet. You go down, okay, so and so, you highlight him in yellow. Yeah, he's done. And now, when we give them 2 weeks, at the end of the first week, I start getting it, incomplete, and it emails them out. And like Friday, if it's going to end on Monday, Friday, and it's still incomplete, I'll call them and say, "You want to run Monday?" Yeah, and this better be done when I come in Monday morning, or and they'll say, "Well, you can't. I didn't do that to you. You done it to you. You've had 2 weeks. Come on. It's not like I gave you. Hey, you got 10 minutes to get this done. You've had 2 weeks. So don't put the jack bus on this. You done it to yourself. Now you've got Saturday and Sunday to get it done. And Sunday afternoon, I'll usually fire up my computer and it'll give me a list of all the ones that have completed it. And then what I'll do is, if I don't send a hold on Sunday afternoon, they'll be dispatched out Sunday night or Monday morning. If I put a hold on it, they're not going. So, but it's made it much easier for me. And then same thing on the safety, on the safety meetings. Most of them, they'll say, "Well, I can't make it." Okay, well, I'm going to sign it to you in the portal. What we're going to cover, you get it done and sign off on it. At least then I've got something to put in my file. Hey, he didn't physically attend a meeting, but he done his safety meeting training on Infinit-I, and I've got it with a certificate printed out, and it's in his file. So
Yeah, it makes our meetings shorter. Once you have, through the portal, we're giving everybody all the information that they need to do their job safely and in compliance. And so when we do wind up having meetings, it's more of a open forum discussion.
And that can be dangerous
here's some current events.
Cheers.
that can be dangerous.
Great.
Well, hey, listen, I'm 10 years in. I'm okay with it now. I can handle the.
See, I'm about 35
Yeah,
years in,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
1992.
All right,
There you go. Yeah, damn. I wasn't hardly born then.
Right for the juggler on that one, man.
That's a South Carolina term, wood carving.
Yeah. Wouldn't.
I'm a bleep
What?
fan.
What?
You're okay. You're okay. Get some butter.
There you go.
I got two more questions. Are either one of you using the system for parts of your driver orientation?
Yeah,
And if not, are you planning to?
I'm using it for a day and a half of mine.
Okay?
And we do not, but I wrote probably a whole page worth of notes already from today's meeting. Probably wish I would have done this 2 years ago. I probably would have changed some stuff. Not that our orientation will shorten. I think what will wind up happening, though, is people will have a better feel for our company and what they're getting into before they show up.
Yeah.
And if any particular person couldn't be present, that they could actually get the information from the horse's mouth or the other part,
Excellent.
the way it was supposed to.
Mostly the other part.
Mostly, yeah, it could be the other part.
All right, any questions from the audience? I have one last question, and we'll let you guys go. No?
Yeah.
My last question is are either one of you planning anything new with the system in the future? New departments, new areas that you want to try to work on?
I'll let you go first, Gunther.
I'm sitting here thinking, I mean, we've used it for so many
Pretty much
different
everywhere
facets.
already.
And we've really been hands off with it. I mean, I think actually when we decided to go with it, we thought that we would have all of these custom made videos that we would do ourselves. And actually went out and purchased the equipment to do it. Didn't like the results that we were getting because of, we want to make things too complex, I think. And we're just not prepared to do that amount of editing. And we actually never took you guys up on the offer to come out and do some stuff because we didn't know exactly what we wanted to hit with the limited time that we had. So we will be doing some, especially after all the notes that I took, we'll definitely be making some changes.
I think the only thing we might look at, and then we've talked about it, and I think I'm gonna put it in, is we have a web page, but it covers sales, it covers recruiting, it covers this. I think I might do more of a recruiting aspect, and I'm gonna make one recruiting module for owner operators, one recruiting module for company drivers. So when they go to our web page now, there's all this information and all this stuff all over the page, and I might just make it like, give them their password, and make it recruiting as a password,
Right.
and then go in there, click. If they're a company driver, I'll assign them that portal. If they're an owner operator, I'll assign them that one. That way, I can make specific video, and I'll do mine, and take things from our webpage there, but condense it where it's just, somebody in sales, they don't care about me recruiting, so we'll probably make maybe something for sales, something for recruiting, something for owner operators, and maybe a benefit page. We've got a benefit page on it now, so.
Awesome.
So
Any other questions?
it's an easy system to use.
For general ongoing training, just for all drivers, how much do you guys do for that? Do you have every driver do one video a month or a couple a month or?
We really don't have a set amount.
Okay.
But what we try to do is we try to implement, and because we're tankers and, safety, we try to do a new safety video or something new, we just switched off, we bought some new trailers. The valving's different on them, so we put a training video in there for that. There's certain guys that pull just gas, so we don't, when there's new changes to the gas on it, we don't assign it to the guys that are up
Right.
over at Catlettsburg, Kentucky, pulling, blasting syrup. We don't assign it to that, so we be specific more with our training and information about who gets it. 'Cause we have a gas division, we have a chemical division, we have a caustic division, and we have over in Catlettsburg, they pull a lot of blasting agents and stuff like that. So, and each one of those, like on the blasting syrup, they just changed a new thing about licensing, a special permit you have to have that we used to have to obtain. You better make sure it's in the truck, so you get pulled over and you don't have it. That is one road you don't want to go down. So that was part of the training. Well, that just recently changed. We implemented all the trucks with it, but we put a video out there. We told all the guys pulling that, watch this, so you know exactly what you need, where it's at in that book, if you get stopped. Because, you know, and when you're pulling that stuff, you want to make sure that you know that book is either in the seat or on the floorboard with easy access, because we had a guy get wrote up for that. So we use it, drive, you know, pretty much specific to what drivers are pulling, so.
Okay. And you said you created a lesson plan a year in advance.
Yes.
So again, is that like one video a month?
It's
for the
2
lesson
to
plan?
3, depending on the length of the videos.
Okay, for all drivers?
For all drivers,
Do 2
yes.
to 3 videos? a
Yes,
month?
yes.
Okay.
And some of them are really short, but, you know, it's just for that general awareness
Yeah.
and just trying to maintain a certain level of repetition so that guys understand what we're talking about when we're talking about it. You know, that they keep getting that reiterated, that same point over and over. And for us, we didn't talk about this too much, and I want to make sure I mentioned it. You know, one of the things that I've noticed, we drive about 60 million miles a year, so we have our share of accidents. And for those of you who don't drive quite that many, you know, at some point, if you haven't been, you're going to be deposed. And every time I go to a deposition, they ask about driver training. And then it's not part of the driver file, right? So you don't have to, during interrogatories, you don't have to answer that question.
Right.
You just give them the DOT file. But when they do get around to putting you on the stand or taking your deposition, they always ask about driver training. And so we use, and I name it, Infinit-I, and it's based on the trucking industry, and we do 2 to 3 videos every month, and they're required, and we just tell them their requirements. They're required to do it before they get paid for a clean inspection. That's how we don't guarantee a compliance with it, because it's not required, but you won't get paid for your clean inspection. And there's not another question asked, and they don't actually subpoena those documents either. So it's like 2 questions, and they move on to the next subject. So that's been one of those things where, you know, I don't know how excited you get when you get deposed, or if you've ever been deposed,
Oh, yeah.
or whatever. But, you know, that's next subject. And then you get, and now what do you have? You know, so that's been going on for about 4 years now. We've actually never had to provide any attorney with training records. Once we tell them.
Because of that answer.
That is correct. Yes, yeah.
They just move on.
We've
to the
heard
next
that
question.
before, you know, that they just don't go down that road.
There's no
They
point in it.
know
Yeah, there's no point in
that
it. You
you're
got it
gonna
covered.
rip out
Yeah.
3,000 pages of records and say,
Yeah.
here you go, knock yourself
I'll
out.
tell you something we did do at one of ours. We hit it wasn't hid, but we put out, when we had some new rules and regulations come down on tankers and stuff, we had it was about I don't know, about half hour, maybe 45 minutes of training that they had to, and it wasn't anything that was imperative, so we sent out a module, told them, you know, hey, you got to watch this, and you've got 2 weeks to watch it, you know, and you know, nothing about, you know, 2 weeks or, you know, we won't be able to dispatch you. This is some films you need, you know, try to get them done in a couple of weeks. Well, in the middle of one of the films, one of the modules, you clicked on it and said, glad to see you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Register immediately right here to win a chance to win $2,500. You'd be surprised, these guys, you know, and as soon, you know, and, you know, 2 weeks went by and, you know, I didn't see much activity or anything. And then one guy,
Let the cat out of the
one
bag.
guy, it's like telephone, telegraph, Usher driver,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
It's one guy went in there and he called his buddy, hey, did you know that if you do this, and all of a sudden I bet I got 300 of them in one day. You know, so it was just, I done it just to see if I didn't put any kind of rules. So now I always tell them, you know, hey, you know, anything in your Infinity, you know, might want to check. You never know. You know?
That's great.
So it was just like down there, you know, and that's all it said. Glad to see you're doing what you should be doing. Click here to register, jack. You know, and like I said, I guess about 10 days, and I was telling Marlene, I said, man, that goes to show you, they really just, you know, if you don't set a timeline on them, some of them, but then it was telegraph, you know, telephone, tell a Usher driver, and boom.
That's a great.
And we had a winner, and we made a big deal out of it, so it's
That's
pretty
great.
neat. So.
Awesome.